The very mention of witchcraft often evokes skepticism, challenging the confines of conventional understanding. While narratives within books or articles may seem distant, a profound shift in perspective occurs when confronted with the raw, lived experiences of those who have faced such inexplicable forces. This narrative unfolds with the account of Anna, a woman in her mid-30s during the vibrant mid-2000s. A resident of Mexico City, the sprawling, dynamic capital, Anna embodied independence and vitality. She held a respected position within a prestigious company, commanding a substantial income. Having navigated the complexities of a divorce, her world revolved around her cherished daughter, a charming young girl aged 6 or 7. Their life together was anchored in Anna's meticulously decorated apartment, a space adorned with carefully chosen pieces acquired over time, reflecting her refined taste and desire for a beautiful home. Anna's strength was not merely personal, it was deeply rooted in her family. She maintained close ties with her mother, sisters, and cousins, fostering a remarkably stable familial environment. Hailing from the Mexican state of Guerrero, she embodied the formidable spirit often attributed to women from that region. Lore suggested that a woman from Guerrero wielded the machete with her hand and the sword with her mouth, signifying an inherent resilience and a low tolerance for injustice. Anna was, undeniably, a quintessential example of this powerful archetype. Having successfully navigated the aftermath of her divorce, Anna had rebuilt her life with remarkable poise. Her professional career flourished, marked by a commendable income and a respected standing within her office. She maintained a cautious demeanor, not out of specific distrust, but as a general principle. She never consumed food or beverages offered by colleagues, no casual sweets, no impromptu coffees, no shared sandwiches. Some perceived this as aloofness or even arrogance, given her attractive appearance and successful trajectory. She was a woman of striking presence, possessing a refined demeanor, a thriving career, and a life that, on the surface, appeared perfectly well-ordered. Into this meticulously structured world stepped Fernando, a man approximately 28 years of age. He was not a figure of classical beauty, but rather an ordinary individual, dark-haired, with a very fair complexion and average height. His recent arrival at the office placed him in a position slightly superior to Anna's. Fernando possessed a peculiar gait, a distinct limp in his right leg. Beyond this physical characteristic, he was neither particularly attractive nor outwardly pleasant. Indeed, he was often withdrawn and quiet. A curious detail surrounded him: his surprisingly young girlfriend. Those who observed her arriving with him in his car described a remarkably youthful, almost skeletal figure, with a gaunt, cadaverous appearance and profound dark circles beneath her eyes. Whispers circulated within the office, suggesting Fernando had abandoned his wife to be with this enigmatic young woman. Despite these unsettling undercurrents, the rhythm of office life persisted. Interactions remained cordial but distant, a professional detachment fostered by the ambitious nature of their workplace. Anna, in particular, envisioned a long-term future within this large corporation, anticipating retirement, promotions, and significant professional growth. The company offered extensive opportunities, promising a trajectory that stretched far into the future. Yet subtle anomalies began to emerge. Not long after his arrival, Fernando achieved another conquest. A friend of Anna's, a young, attractive woman with a burgeoning career within the company. Her undeniable charm and promising future made her a noticeable figure. The office collective expressed profound surprise at her entanglement with Fernando, a man known to have a girlfriend who had left his wife and who possessed no overt physical allure. Adding to the intrigue, this woman openly flaunted the relationship, seemingly proud of her connection to him. However, within a mere few months, a disturbing transformation began. Anna, observing her friend, witnessed a rapid deterioration. The once vivacious, outgoing, and robust woman became visibly thin, her eyes shadowed by dark circles, her mood profoundly diminished, almost absent in her demeanor. As for the first skeletal girlfriend who had occasionally appeared with Fernando, her presence gradually faded. Soon, no one knew her fate. She had vanished without a trace, and her absence raised no questions, for she had never truly been known. But the rapid decline of Anna's friend, her alarming emaciation and deterioration, captured everyone's attention, including Anna's own profound concern. At this juncture, Anna's life felt stable and promising. She believed herself impervious to such convoluted relationships, especially with a man like Fernando, or to the entanglement of leaving a known partner for another. Such scenarios were far from her aspirations or plans. Yet, with a bewildering swiftness, she found herself unexpectedly seated across from him in a restaurant, sharing a meal. Moments later, she was in his bed, overcome with a mixture of surprise and terror, utterly bewildered by how she had arrived at such a predicament. Thus began a period of her life shrouded in a profound, unsettling haze. The following morning, her sister arrived, maintaining the family's agreed-upon vigil, ensuring Anna was never left alone, never lost to her deteriorating state. Anna was now skeletal, unable to retain food. As her sister examined her, she discovered strange bite marks precisely where the dream had indicated, on the back of her thighs. The nightmare had manifested in physical reality, more tangible than they could have possibly imagined. And with this terrifying confirmation, the fear intensified exponentially. Around the same period, Anna's entanglement began. A friend of hers, Maggie, had also become involved with a close associate of Fernando. Over time, it became apparent that this man and Fernando were unusually close, sharing a striking resemblance, a similar demeanor, and even the identical slight limp in their stride. Both seemed afflicted by the same distinctive gait. Maggie was a captivating young woman, vital, vivacious, and universally well-liked for her fun and amiable nature. But then, the insidious pattern re-emerged. As she began her relationship with Fernando's friend, she too started to deteriorate. Her face grew gaunt, her eyes hollow, and her once beautiful, lustrous hair became dull and lifeless. She wasted away to an alarming degree, her bones visibly protruding through her skin. Then, one tragic day, Maggie simply collapsed and died. Maggie herself had experienced unsettling premonitions. More chillingly, one of her sisters had received a warning during a card reading, where the reader foretold a death and described the funeral. The sister had initially feared it was Anna, but the tragic reality proved otherwise. It was Maggie. Other unsettling phenomena contributed to Anna's growing terror. One detail in particular was profoundly disturbing: dogs. Whenever Fernando walked near Anna, animals reacted with extreme agitation. Dogs on the street would bark furiously, displaying highly unusual, frightened behavior. Sometimes entire packs would erupt into frantic barking as he passed, their cries reflecting a primal fear. Inside homes, the presence of this man invariably caused pets, even small ones, to growl, bark, howl, and cower in terror. Anna's life spiraled further into chaos and fear. Her contact with Fernando became minimal. She preferred to maintain a safe distance. She had even changed the locks on her apartment as he possessed a key. Yet, her fear intensified after someone delivered a chilling warning. After her, the girl would be next. Desperate to escape this escalating nightmare, Anna sought help. She remembered an old friend, a Japanese doctor specializing in Oriental therapies. During their first meeting, the doctor's assessment was grim. He declared there was no time to lose, that her condition was severe, and questioned what she could have possibly done to incur such intense hatred from this man. Initiating the first cleansing or treatment proved extraordinarily challenging. Each time Anna attempted to reach the doctor's office, unforeseen obstacles materialized. A sudden storm, a road accident, anything that prevented her arrival. Similarly, when the doctor tried to visit her apartment, identical impediments arose. It seemed an invisible force actively blocked their efforts. Finally, after numerous preparations and a series of initial rituals, he managed to reach her. Upon his arrival, the doctor led her to the bathroom and instructed her through a series of actions. Rub herself with salt, apply olive oil, and then, using a small seed-filled doll, rub her entire body, excluding her head. Once completed, she handed over the doll, closed the shower curtain, and was told to bathe in intensely hot water. As the scalding water cascaded over her, Anna watched in horror as her skin appeared to bleed. Alarmed, she initially believed the salt and the doll had caused cuts. But then, an even more terrifying reality emerged. It was not blood. Instead, tiny, wriggling red worms emerged from her body, falling to the floor where they continued to move, undeniably alive. They had been on her skin the entire time. Though terrified, Anna completed the ritual, but further assistance from the Oriental doctor became impossible. Following that traumatic event, he encountered so many problems that he was forced to discontinue his involvement. Fortunately, Anna then found a santero, a Cuban man of remarkable spiritual insight. Upon their first encounter, he immediately recognized the gravity of her situation, declaring, "You are bad. You are bad. We have to do something quickly." He began a regimen of treatments and rubbings, but ultimately he could not provide a complete resolution. As a santero, he possessed powerful abilities, but the dark work inflicted upon Anna stemmed from Palo Mayombe of the Congo rule, a force beyond his capacity to fully counter. He could offer relief, help her regain some ground, but he could not sever the ultimate connection. During this period of ongoing struggle, protection became paramount. Anna had, coincidentally, left her apartment and was living in various temporary residences. In one particular house, the owner kept several large, formidable dogs. One of these dogs, a massive animal, became her constant companion, never leaving her side. At times, it would react with sudden, violent aggression, as if attacking an unseen entity, only to return calmly to its protective stance beside her. These were profoundly strange times. Anna even requested a transfer to a different office, far from her previous workplace, desperate to avoid any encounter with the man. She had changed her key, but the sense of pervasive danger persisted. Some time later, her sister, a friend, and a niece guided Anna to a woman renowned for her clairvoyance and deep understanding, a figure known simply as Norma, a type of witch. At their initial meeting, with just a touch, a fleeting sensation, and the reading of a single card, Norma uttered a chilling question. "What the heck did you do with this lame man who wants to finish you off?" She had accurately described Fernando without any prior information. This first encounter was just the beginning. Norma continued to reveal peculiar, precise details about the unfolding events, the nature of the relationship, his presence in Anna's home, and his absence. She then delivered a terrifying prophecy. "When he finishes with you, he will go for your daughter. That is why you are still alive. When he finishes, he will go for her." The urgency was undeniable. Action had to be taken swiftly. A particularly alarming detail emerged when Norma spoke of those responsible for the dark work. She did not refer to the one who has worked on you, but consistently used the plural, they, indicating a collective entity. This revelation profoundly terrified Anna, as it made clear that a group, not just one individual, was targeting her daughter. As the months progressed, Anna's condition began to stabilize and improve, though the arduous process of rituals, cleansings, and rubbings continued within her home. Norma employed black powders, scattering them in specific corners of the apartment. Later, she claimed these powders spoke to her. This phenomenon was strikingly evident. Upon entering the apartment, Norma would declare, "He sat there. Here he placed such a thing. Here he did this, and chillingly, they have all entered. They have all been watching you. They have all seen you." She would point to the exact spot where he had sat, even if the armchair was no longer present, detailing his movements through rooms and their actions. When the powders were burned, images of snakes, toads, and other profoundly unsettling creatures would materialize. Overwhelmed by this pervasive dread, Anna ultimately abandoned the apartment. It had been her sanctuary, her pride, her beloved home, but she was forced to sell it. All her cherished possessions, the charming sun and moon decorations, the beautiful furniture she had carefully chosen, everything had to be discarded. Nothing could accompany her to her new residence. She had to relocate far away, to change every aspect of her life, even her clothing, and, of course, her daughter's belongings. The apartment was put on the market. Fortunately, the malevolent work had been specifically directed at her, ensuring the next occupant experienced no problems, instead inheriting a beautiful collection of plants and many animals that infused the space with new life. Yet, Anna's struggle was far from over. Eradicating such deeply entrenched darkness proved immensely challenging. During subsequent rites of liberation, revelations emerged that further intensified her understanding. It was not a singular entity, but a group, several individuals all sharing distinct characteristics. According to Norma, this was a collective of males, ranging from 20 to 40 years old, all with white skin, black hair, and, crucially, all bearing the same subtle leg defect. This limp, it was explained, served as a mark, a signifier that the individual belonged to their group, a form of initiation payment into the collective to which Anna had undoubtedly been consecrated. The chilling truth was laid bare. The objective was not to enjoy her, nor merely to target her, but to sacrifice her. The second, inevitable step would be her daughter. With the passage of time, Anna gradually regained her strength. The treatments proved effective, fostering her resilience and resistance. Eventually, she even returned to her former office, confronting the man who had orchestrated her torment. Her newfound strength was such that it was Fernando who ultimately capitulated. He requested a transfer and departed, seemingly unable to withstand the repercussions of his actions. The karmic principle, that which you do comes back to you, appeared to manifest. In the present day, Anna has emerged as a significantly stronger woman. Yet the echoes of her ordeal persist, manifesting in occasional nightmares and unresolved issues that require continued attention and spiritual growth. She has re-embraced her spiritual path, remaining acutely aware of the period of grave risk in her life and the chilling reality that the malevolent forces involved have not entirely vanished. A testament to this enduring struggle arrived years later when Anna developed a series of unusual tumors, a battery of 11 distinct growths that necessitated surgical removal. Her health deteriorated significantly, leading to a scheduled admission for surgery. The night before her operation, however, a profoundly strange dream unfolded. She envisioned her body within an unusual operating room, characterized by peculiar arm-like structures extending from its sides. In this dream, she witnessed her own demise, or at least the death of the person on the operating table. Despite this terrifying premonition, she resolved to face the procedure. The following day, her surgery was scheduled for 6:30 in the afternoon in operating room 8 of Clinic 6. Upon admission, she was prepared for the operation, dressed in the appropriate attire, and laid upon the operating table. It was then that she recognized the operating room as precisely the one from her dream, with its unsettling, cross-shaped arrangement. Overwhelmed by panic, her blood pressure surged, her heart rate accelerated, and her vital signs spiraled out of control, forcing the medical staff to cancel the procedure and remove her from the operating room. She was immediately transferred to the adjacent recovery room, where efforts were made to stabilize her. In the urgency of a government clinic, the operating room was swiftly prepared for the next patient, a young woman scheduled for a routine intervention. Anna remained in recovery, her blood pressure and heart rate gradually stabilizing, when suddenly a flurry of activity erupted. It was after 7 in the evening. Doctors rushed in with equipment, declaring a code blue. The young woman who had just entered the operating room for a routine procedure had tragically died. It was a chilling, unspoken message, a stark warning that her ordeal was far from over. Perhaps. The following day, she was able to undergo her surgery without incident, and today, Her fight against these lingering forces continues. As for Fernando, his fate remains unknown. After his departure from the office and subsequent transfer, all trace of him vanished. Now, residing at a different address, Anna continues her work, feeling well, having reclaimed her former self. She practices yoga, engages in study and meditation, and has profoundly strengthened herself spiritually, preparing to persevere in her ongoing battle. For the purposes of this narrative, all identifying names and specific situations have been meticulously altered. This measure was taken at the explicit request of those individuals who generously shared their profound experiences, many of whom remain in similar circumstances or maintain ongoing connections with the events described. Their preference ensures privacy and protection, allowing the story to be told while safeguarding their identities. In the vibrant landscape of Jalisco, Mexico, specifically in the bustling city of Guadalajara, there lived a young woman named Mirna. She was, by all accounts, the epitome of local beauty, a characteristic for which the region is widely renowned. Within her social circle, Mirna consistently stood out as the most captivating, surrounded by a multitude of friends, both male and female, whose bonds stretched back through many years. As they transitioned into the high school years, it seemed an entirely natural progression when Mirna began a romantic relationship with one of these long-standing companions. He was a truly remarkable young man, a cherished friend for countless years, and their connection was undeniable. Their affection for one another was profound, their compatibility exceptional, and the entire group of friends celebrated their union. They attended social gatherings together, a visibly charming and admired couple. The young man's character was impeccable, and Mirna found immense happiness and pride in their bond. Her family, intimately familiar with the young man and his exemplary nature, wholeheartedly endorsed the relationship. A mutual affection flourished between both families, creating an atmosphere of warmth and acceptance. For the sake of this account, the young man shall be referred to as Carlitos. However, a mere few months into what appeared to be an idyllic romance, a profound and disturbing transformation began to grip Mirna. Despite having long passed the tumultuous phase of adolescence, she was suddenly plagued by severe and unpredictable mood swings. An uncharacteristic and volatile temper emerged, replacing her former cheerful disposition. She would often retreat into the solitude of her room, consumed by a pervasive melancholy, refusing invitations to social outings, even simple trips to the cinema. When Carlitos, her devoted boyfriend, attempted to coax her out for a meal or a coffee, he was met with curt rejections and uncharacteristic rudeness. Their time together became fraught with incessant conflict, marked by trivial and illogical arguments that felt entirely out of place for a couple who had shared such a harmonious friendship for years. A once perfect dynamic now seemed irrevocably broken. Yet, amidst this deepening despair, her affection for Carlitos remained steadfast. The perplexing question lingered: what was the true cause of this sudden, devastating change? As Mirna's disposition continued to darken, her female friends began to gradually withdraw, a painful reality that did not escape her notice. Eventually, Carlitos, unable to reconcile with the dramatic shift in her personality, ended their relationship, subsequently distancing himself from her life entirely. Invitations to social gatherings ceased, and Mirna found herself increasingly isolated, retreating further into herself. Her mother, possessing the intuitive insight inherent to parenthood, observed these alarming changes with growing concern. The shift in Mirna's demeanor was undeniable, perceptible to everyone in their immediate circle. Even her younger sister, then a child of approximately 8 or 9 years, sensed the profound alteration in her beloved sibling. Despite Mirna's episodes of rudeness and haughtiness during these dark periods, her mother remained a steadfast source of calm, providing unwavering care and support, a maternal anchor amidst the storm. On the occasion of a local patronal feast, Mirna's mother, yearning to see her daughter emerge from her self-imposed isolation, resolved to bring her out. Mirna, enveloped in the pervasive gloom of her room, expressed no desire to participate. Undeterred, her mother approached, gently but firmly coaxing her. "Come with me," she urged. "I want you to accompany me. I want everyone to see my daughter, to see us together." She suggested a trip to the nearby fair to procure some fried bananas, a local delicacy prepared with sweetened milk and various toppings. Reluctantly, Mirna agreed. As they arrived at the bustling stand and purchased the sweet treat, an astonishing transformation began to unfold. As she consumed the bananas, Mirna's face softened, a genuine smile gracing her lips. She appeared vibrant, content, and visibly pleased by the lively crowds, the festive noise, and the joyous atmosphere of the fair. As they strolled through the vibrant fairgrounds, their gaze fell upon two figures in the distance, a pair of pajareros, a man and a woman. A pajarero is a traditional fortune teller who employs small, trained birds to select cards from a specially designed box. The bird, placed upon the box, meticulously draws a single card, revealing a fortune. While a rudimentary form of divination, it is often cherished for its charm. Sometimes the cards offer light-hearted predictions, while at other times they deliver somber or profound omens. Mirna's mother, intrigued by the spectacle, suggested they approach. "Come, let's see what it tells us," she proposed, viewing it as a delightful diversion. They joined the queue for the female pajarero, awaiting their turn for the bird to reveal its wisdom. Just as their turn approached, an unexpected event transpired. The woman's partner, the other pajarero, abruptly left his post and walked directly towards Mirna. He gently took her arm and, with an air of urgency, requested, "Accompany me. Just 2 steps. Move over here a little. I need to tell you something important." Surprised by the direct address, Mirna complied, stepping only a short distance away, never losing sight of her mother's watchful gaze. Without preamble, the man delivered a chilling pronouncement. "There is a problem with you. Someone is causing you harm. 2 women are working against you, specifically to take your boyfriend away. You are in grave danger. You must seek treatment immediately. I cannot assist you directly, but you must find someone who can. I can only perceive your peril, and I assure you, you are in danger. You must rectify this situation, for it could ultimately claim your life." Following this unsettling pronouncement, the man returned to his station. Mirna, still reeling, insisted on compensating him, but he initially refused to accept any payment. Nevertheless, she pressed the money into his hand, treating the encounter as if a fortune had indeed been drawn. As they departed, Mirna's mother was visibly astonished, and both were deeply unsettled by the encounter. In the ensuing days and weeks, as life continued its inexorable flow, a stark and painful truth emerged. Carlitos, her former boyfriend, was now openly enamored with 2 of Mirna's previously closest friends. These women would frequent his company, inviting him to gatherings and parties, leading many to question Mirna's absence and Carlitos's new companions. He, however, appeared utterly delighted, while Mirna continued her descent into profound despair. As the time for university approached, a significant change occurred in Mirna's life. Her family relocated. For reasons unspoken, her parents decided to move her from their old residence to a new neighborhood, a new, more aesthetically pleasing home. Upon entering university, Mirna experienced a notable period of recovery. The academic environment proved to be a pleasant respite, allowing her to forge new connections and build relationships. One day, amidst a casual conversation with her new female friends, she recounted the peculiar encounter with the pajarero. One of these new companions, listening intently, suggested, "Why don't we go see a lady I know who might be able to help you?" Despite the partial recovery, Mirna still carried the inexplicable burden, the lingering darkness that continued to overshadow her existence. She agreed to the suggestion, though openly expressing her skepticism. "I don't believe in these things," she stated frankly, "but if you wish, I will accompany you." Her friend, surprisingly, responded positively to her doubt. "That's even better," she remarked. "It's good that you don't believe. as it will prevent you from being suggestible." A few days later, in what felt more like a social excursion, Mirna joined her friends to visit the woman. Upon their arrival, the woman, with a simple touch of Mirna's hand, reiterated the precise words spoken by the payarero. "Two young women are inflicting terrible harm upon you," she declared, "stemming from a romantic dispute, an issue concerning a suitor. I cannot reveal their identities until you provide me with specific items necessary for assistance. I require these things because the work they performed upon you is a work of death. Their intention was not merely to steal your boyfriend, they sought to utterly destroy you. I do not understand their full motive, but their goal was your demise. It is imperative that you undertake this task today." In that pivotal moment, Mirna attempted to formulate a polite refusal, perhaps a simple, "thank you, no," or any other response, but found herself utterly incapable. Her jaw seized, locking rigid, and an uncontrollable tremor racked her body, as if she were exposed to sub-zero temperatures. Not a single word could escape her lips. The woman, observing this distressing reaction, drew closer, her gaze piercing. She gently touched Mirna and stated, "Poor thing, they performed a ritual to silence you. That is why you cannot speak. They do not wish for you to reveal what has transpired. Do not worry. Bring what I have requested now." As Mirna departed, the moment she crossed the threshold, the inexplicable lock on her jaw released, and her power of speech returned. Leaving her friends behind, she set off on her solitary journey. As she walked, a profound reluctance settled over her. She felt no desire to proceed with the woman's instructions, her interest in such matters having completely waned. Yet, a deep-seated instinct led her to recite a prayer, a plea rooted in the religious upbringing that had always been a cornerstone of her family life. She prayed fervently, imploring a divine sign, a reassurance that events would unfold favorably, that everything would ultimately be all right. A pervasive desperation consumed her. Thoughts of death had haunted her mind on countless occasions, as the oppressive darkness that weighed upon her had become utterly exhausting. She felt diminished, visibly thinner despite her inherent beauty. The relentless cycle of mood swings persisted, a constant torment. Upon returning home, Mirna remained silent, sharing nothing of her recent encounter. The thought of purchasing the specific items the woman had requested from the market filled her with an overwhelming disinterest. She retreated into the sanctuary of her room, locking herself away from the world. However, her mother, guided by an almost prescient maternal instinct, recognized the deepening despair. She approached Mirna's door and gently knocked. "Daughter, please help me," she implored. "Come on, would you mind going to buy some threads I desperately need? Take a walk, just a short stroll. There's a particular store near the market, in a specific location, where I'd like you to make the purchase." Unbeknownst to Mirna, her mother's true motive was a subtle attempt to uplift her spirits. A handsome young man, known to have admired Mirna, worked at one of the market stalls, and her mother hoped the encounter might provide a much-needed distraction. Despite her initial reluctance, Mirna eventually agreed. She took her younger sister, then approximately 10 or 11 years old, by the hand. As they stepped out of the house, an astonishing lightness enveloped Mirna. An unexpected sense of well-being washed over her. Both sisters walked happily, their faces adorned with smiles. Mirna, a naturally beautiful and charming young woman, radiated a captivating warmth. Hand in hand, they strolled along, engaging in cheerful conversation, Mirna's talkative younger sister filling the air with her lively chatter. As they rounded the corner, an unexpected sight greeted them. An antique car, remarkably well-preserved and aesthetically pleasing, stood parked beside the sidewalk. Their cheerful stroll continued. Suddenly, within the vehicle, an extremely elderly man became visible. He was a small, frail figure, adorned with a classic beret, a neat suit, and a tie. Their proximity allowed them a clear view. At that precise moment, the old man opened the car door and gestured towards Mirna, inviting her closer. "Come, come," he beckoned. Being a young woman of considerable strength, she approached, assuming the elderly gentleman required assistance to exit his vehicle. Indeed, he opened the door slightly wider and inquired, "May I help you?" Mirna extended her arm. The man grasped it, and with surprising ease, she helped him from the car, feeling absolutely no resistance or weight from his frail form. Once outside the car, the elderly man fixed his gaze upon her and offered a profoundly pleasant smile. A distinct, calming floral scent, akin to a soothing lotion, emanated from him. The mere touch brought Mirna an immense sense of tranquility. With that gentle smile, the old man inquired, "How are you, daughter?" Mirna, somewhat taken aback, replied, "Fine, fine. Do you need me to take you somewhere?" The old man shook his head. "No, no. You are not well, and you know it. Do not deceive me. You are perfectly aware that you are not well. What troubles you?" Mirna, flustered, responded, "Excuse me, you must be mistaken. I am not the person you think. You are confused. Can I assist you with anything else?" The old man remained steadfast. "No, no. But I wish to impart a message. Have confidence. Everything is going to be all right. You understand perfectly well what I am speaking of. I am the very sign you prayed for. I came to tell you, have confidence, you will be well. Do what is asked of you, and everything will be resolved." In that instant, the old man released Mirna's arm, remaining still. Mirna turned to her younger sister, who stood wide-eyed, visibly frightened, bewildered by the old man's unexpected interaction. Mirna walked to her sister's side, reassuring her that everything was now fine. When both turned back, the scene had utterly transformed. The car door was closed, and the old man was nowhere to be seen. Given his extreme age and frailty, it was physically impossible for him to have moved more than a few steps, yet he had vanished without a trace. Concerned by the inexplicable disappearance, the sisters quickened their pace towards the store. They made their purchases, and on the return journey, Mirna noticed a profound shift within herself. The lingering fear and malaise had dissipated. She felt remarkably well. The following day, she confided in her mother, recounting the entirety of the extraordinary encounter. Her mother, having witnessed Mirna's prolonged suffering, offered guidance and encouragement. "It's all right," she affirmed. "Go and do it. Why not?" With her mother's support, Mirna proceeded to acquire the necessary items and delivered them to the woman. The healer then provided a chillingly precise description of the individuals who had caused Mirna harm, and their motivations. Without a shadow of a doubt, it was her two former friends, their names explicitly stated. Every detail aligned perfectly with Mirna's own agonizing experiences. The healer then prepared a potent remedy. Mirna had, in fact, been experiencing a perplexing physical ailment since the very beginning of her relationship with Carlitos. A subtle, persistent pain in the abdominal region, specifically around the navel. This discomfort would later ascend, becoming utterly unbearable whenever she succumbed to sadness or tears. It manifested as an agonizing sensation, climbing towards the pit of her stomach and then radiating into her chest. The woman described this precise symptom with uncanny accuracy, explaining, "They gave you something to eat, but that substance entered your body, reached its target, and is now expanding. We must halt its progression. You must apply this." She meticulously instructed Mirna on its use, and upon returning home, Mirna followed the directions. The experience was excruciating. She was racked with pain, drenched in sweat, and overcome with tears. A truly horrifying ordeal. The woman added a chilling caveat. "You must be prepared. For no more than 3 days after commencing this treatment, a pet will perish. Ensure there is an animal present, for a life must be taken. We are redirecting this malevolence. Otherwise, the one who would die is you." The following day, Mirna repeated the arduous treatment, enduring another wave of terrible pains. That very night, the family dog, in an inexplicable act, leaped from the rooftop, sustaining fatal injuries and dying instantly. In the days that followed, precisely as the healer had foretold, a profound transformation occurred. Within a few days, Mirna's spirits were entirely restored, experiencing a lightness and clarity she had never known. She emerged as a completely new individual, transformed in every conceivable way. Her academic performance once again excelled, her social life flourished, and every aspect of her existence began to progress with remarkable harmony and success. It is worth noting that, now fully recovered and feeling exceptionally well, Mirna once again found herself on an errand to purchase thread. Her mother, ever subtly encouraging, had not forgotten the handsome young man who worked at the market store. Coincidentally, Mirna encountered him there, and their conversation flowed easily, for Mirna was known for her vivacious and talkative nature. During their chat, she pointed to the antique, beautifully maintained car still parked nearby. "Hey, do you see that car over there?" she inquired. "Yes, of course," he replied. "Do you know whose it is?" she pressed. "Yes, of course," he confirmed. "It belonged to a man who used to live here, from this very store, from this family." "Did you know the man?" Mirna asked. "Well, I knew him," he responded. Puzzled, Mirna questioned, "What do you mean, you knew him?" He then revealed the astonishing truth. "Yes, he passed away 7 or 8 years ago. He has been dead for many years. He was a great man, truly sensational, an angel with whom I had many dealings, but he has been deceased for 7 or 8 years." This revelation meant that the benevolent old man, the one who had offered Mirna the sign she desperately sought, had in fact been deceased for a significant period, long before her encounter with him by the parked car. The implications of this extraordinary event are profound. This account stands as a truly sensational narrative, yet it represents but one thread in a larger tapestry of similar, unexplained occurrences.